Coucou les amis! In today's video we are visiting Bordeaux.
Hello! So now we are at the Cité du Vin and we're going to check it out. It's a giant wine museum here in Bordeaux.
This unique museum opened up in 2016 and includes interactive exhibitions about winemaking all around the world. This was my favorite exhibit where you could try identifying different scents in wine.
So we just finished our tour of the museum and now we're waiting up here on the Belvedere on the 8th floor and we're going to have a little wine tasting.
With the tickets we purchased, we were able to get a glass of wine at the end of the tour. We could choose from different wines in France and from around the world, but of course, I had to try a red from Bordeaux. After our museum visit, we walked around the city to see some of its famous squares and monuments. The city is a popular tourist destination and it isn't hard to see why. The city center is actually classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Time to try a Bordeaux specialty, le cannelé. These little cakes are made with rum and vanilla, and this one is from La Taupe Cuivrée, which was the best cannelé I've ever tasted. It was perfectly crunchy on the outside and soft and sweet in the middle. Originally named Burdigala, Bordeaux was founded by a Celtic tribe before turning into a bustling commercial center in 60 BC by the Romans, who introduced wine to the region. The 18th century is considered Bordeaux's golden era because it really prospered during this time. However, this success is due in part to the tragic triangular slave trade. Ships from Bordeaux filled with goods left Europe and then traded things like weapons, alcohol, and textiles for slaves. The slaves then endured a treacherous journey to the Caribbean and the Americas, where they were sold. The traders then brought back coffee, sugar, and more back to France. Remember those cannelés? The rum and vanilla came from this tragic business. Bordeaux acknowledges its past in the Square Toussaint Louverture and in the Musée d'Aquitaine. Today, Bordeaux is most well known for its red wines. The different grape varieties grown in the region include Merlot, Malbec, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Cabernet Franc.
Okay, so it's the next day and we are now in Arcachon, which is a great day trip from Bordeaux. It's by the ocean and we are going to climb the Dune du Pilat, which is Europe's tallest sand dune. Let's go.
The Dune du Pilat is located at the entrance of the Arcachon Bay on the Atlantic coast, just west of Bordeaux. The Landes forest seen here is the largest man-made forest in Western Europe and is made up of mostly maritime pine trees. The dune was formed by sand being transported inland by the wind. Since it encountered the obstacle of the forest, it accumulated and created a dune.
Alright, so here we are. Can you believe that? This is in France.
The dune is about 110 meters tall and it actually moves about 1 to 5 meters towards the forest every year. Before visiting, I didn't expect to be impressed by the dune, but now I consider it one of the highlights of my trip.
Okay, so we're in a new place. It's Saint-Émilion.
We decided to take a half-day trip here because this little village is renowned for its wine, and it's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Legend has it the town was named after a Breton monk who fled here in the 8th century. He lived as a hermit until he eventually gained a following and helped evangelize the area. We booked a wine tour and tasting at the Couvent des Jacobins, where we got to ride in a tuk-tuk and visit the vineyard. They were also in the process of cleaning and filling out some of their wine barrels. They've been producing wine here for almost 7 centuries. Their wine is a Grand Cru Classé, which is a prestigious wine designation. After riding on the tuk-tuk to the vineyards, our guide explained that their organic wines are made from Cabernet Franc grapes and that irrigation is not allowed due to the clay-based soil. Since the terroir has so much limestone, clay, and sand, if it gets too saturated with water, it can be bad for the grapevines. After the tour, we continued to explore the cobblestone streets and admire the Romanesque churches and towers. Some of the shops around were a bit touristy, but we still enjoyed our time there. The next day, before we left Bordeaux, we had a nice brunch at Café Contraste and enjoyed the terraces being open after almost 7 months of restaurants being closed in France. Here I had a dirty chai with oat milk. I also tried an œuf à la coque for the first time, and it was so good but a little messy. Thanks for exploring Bordeaux with me. Make sure you're subscribed for more videos about adventures in France.